Part two with Bill Smitrovich. We're continuing our discussion of our favorite directors, and he's also telling us about directors and their teams. And I just wanted to introduce Bill again. You probably know him from the ABC TV series Life Goes On, to the VP of the United States in the NBC series The Event. And also, he plays a general in 13 Days or Air Force One, and Ted as Frank and Ted's boss. There's so many wonderful TV shows and films. And he started in theater with the great Arthur Miller and A.R. Gurney. And Smitrovich holds an honorary doctorate from the University of Bridgeport and an MFA from Smith College 76. Yeah. So let's continue our discussion of directors. So we were talking about directors, our favorite directors, and our favorite movie scene that a director shot in a movie, because there's so many good movie scenes, like from Jaws to Stanley Kubrick. So so we were talking about which director. We were talking about the last director, the Indian Motorcycle.
Yeah, that was Roger Donaldson, who directed 13 Days and The November Man.
Which you were in, The November Man.
Oh, that was such fun. We had such a good time. Pierce and I became very good friends. And here's an odd piece of information. We started the film on May 16th, about 5 years ago, I guess. And it's both of our birthdays.
Are you serious? May 16th, your birthday? Oh my gosh, happy almost birthday.
And it's Pierce Brosnan's birthday. So I got to the production office and there was a big cake, and I thought it was for me.
Sure, why not?
We were filming in Belgrade, Serbia. So it was wonderful. We had such a great time. But
they're like, born Bill, put your hands down. That's not your cake. Put your hands down. Put the cake back. That is not your cake. And you're like, what is my birthday? Oh, it's Pierce Brosnan's cake. So did you double up on the cake? Did you get some cake? The audience is like, we're still on the edge of our seats. Did you get the cake? Did you get your slice?
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of cake.
Okay.
We got so much cake. And in the next 6 weeks, we couldn't stand it anymore. We had so much cake.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you got your cake too.
Along with about a few other things beside cake. No, but it was so grand meeting and working with Pierce and hanging with him, getting to know his family and getting to know him. And the character, I got a chance to shave my head or keep my head shaved for this character. It came right after I had done American Buffalo, the play, at the Geffen Playhouse. And the film started shortly after that, and I was ready for the role. I was so happy to have the shaved head for the role because it fit just perfectly.
Wow. And that's cool that you went from one role to the next that kind of almost had you prepared and prepped the way you look. That's very cool.
Oh, it was so great. And it was, the great part about it, it's so easy. It's so carefree to have somebody, shave your head every morning or every other day or whatever it would be. But it's a great look. It feels great. And it worked just wonderfully for both characters. In fact, I am proud to say that our production of American Buffalo at the Geffen Playhouse was viewed by David Mamet twice. He came to see the play twice and was wonderfully gracious. And it was also named the best play of the year in Los Angeles. So,
oh my gosh, I want to go to your next play, but I'm hoping that the theater's open, so I hope that I'll be invited to go see your work. It would be spectacular. And could you share with us, like, are you a method actor, or is there any kind of hint you can share with the audience how you prepare for a role, like whether it's a theater? Is it different from theater, TV, and film, or maybe sort of same thing kind of you do?
Well, I have to say both Miller and A.R. Gurney, who I've worked with in the theater, they both called me a natural. I mean, and in some ways there is a natural affinity that I have to the craft. The craft I worked on, and I'll use any technique that I can to get the results that I need. So sometimes you can get the result physically and create an emotional response, and sometimes you can create an emotional to create a physical response, if that makes sense to you.
Sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It just yeah, it's so amazing because you transform from theater, doing the amazing Buffalo Bill to going on TV, being generals, and then to doing spectacular films. It's just
Well,
amazing.
yeah,
Your
I
work.
will say it's American Buffalo. It's not Buffalo Bill.
Did I say?
It's American Buffalo, but David Mamet. But it's just a question of living, of pretending, of imagining, of thinking differently about yourself and how you can use yourself to make a particular character come alive. Do you have something within you? Can you do the necessary emotional work that it would take to build this character? And there's a lot of different training that does go on, but film actors are more interested in being. It's almost like they're in a bubble, and what I mean by that is that you can't see the bubble, and they're always what we're doing as actors. It's not always this way, but you can do so much more with so little in both mediums, but you have to know how. You have to know when. If you want to be subtle on stage, it takes a certain amount of understanding. If you want to be subtle on the screen, that is up to the director. Film is a director's medium. When I hit the stage as an actor, that stage belongs to me.
And that's powerful. That's really powerful, and I love that because it's also when you learn the different mediums, like you said, film is a director's medium, the stage is the actor's medium, and I also like to say the audience, is part of that too a little bit. But
Absolutely. Another character in the play always.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully they're with you. Is there a
Yeah.
favorite? Is there? Yeah, and obviously they are with you. Is there a favorite character that was one that like you just stands out to you that you loved playing?
Um, I like playing damaged characters. Um, I like playing characters that are challenged, um, high stakes. Um, what how my career started was, or how I really discovered. Uh, it was rather an epiphany for me when I was in college at University of Bridgeport. It was around 1970, and I'd already kind of done a couple of little bits here and there in the theater for some friends, because I was kind of a goof off kind of guy. So I was having fun, in college, but I had no compunction about getting on stage and doing things. So I was a big stand-up comic as well. I mean, I was a big fan of stand-up comic. In particular George Carlin, Lenny Bruce. So Lenny Bruce, somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, you ought to go audition for Lenny. They're doing at the theater. And I went, well, wow, they're doing Lenny? I thought they were doing Lenny Bruce. And I got there and they handed me Of Mice and Men. And I went, oh, I've never read Of Mice and Men. So grabbed the script, went to a quiet hallway, read the script. I was minoring in special education at the time. I should preface that. And it's the first time I'd ever wept at a piece of literature in my life. It moved me to my core, and I just was overtaken by this, incredible story of George and Lenny. And so I went into the audition, and I was, as I am right now, emotional, and started to do the scene with Curly's wife, and where Lenny strokes her hair, and then she gets crazy and he goes crazy and snaps her neck. Not crazy, but he gets out of control and he doesn't know his own strength. It's that kind of thing. So I'm doing the scene and I'm deeply into it, and they start laughing, and I get very upset. And I said, "How dare you laugh? Wow. How dare you? How can you direct this play? You're laughing at this character. You don't." And I just got so upset. And he said, no. It was a guest director too. And who went on to become an incredibly important person in my life, Al Pia. And he said, no, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing because we just found our Lenny. And I just about melted. And
I'm about to cry too.
And it proved to be just an incredible moment in my life, because Al and the students at University of Bridgeport, who were members of the theater department, were incredibly gracious and open and giving and supportive. And they actually gave me the Best Actor award that year. And we went on to do the play at Al's Theater in Stamford, Connecticut. We took the whole cast to the Sterling Barn Theater in Stamford. And that's where I met Morris Karnofsky and his wife, Phoebe Brand. And I got some more training from Phoebe and Morris. And Morris put me in a play, his adaptation of Volpone, with Stefan Schnabel, who was Volpone. And he was Stefan was a soap opera star at the time, but a famous actor, Yiddish actor. And so then, a couple of years went by, and a friend of mine told me about Smith College and that they were auditioning men for their master's program, and he was there already, and told him about me, and I went there and auditioned, and just this good fortune shined on me, and they gave me a full ride and a $2,000 a year stipend, and I was in heaven.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a beautiful story. And can you share with us that's amazing, incredible journey. You are a natural, and I'm almost in tears, and I'm like you emotionally just caught me, your beautiful presence just by audio. But can you share with us that you got your big break in the understudy role for the world premiere of Arthur Miller's The American Clock at the Toledo Festival? So I would love for you if you can share that with our audience.
Well, that's a big one too. That's an emotional one. I was studying with Jack Garfine at the Actors and Directors Lab in New York City, and Jack was one of the producers of Arthur's play, The American Clock, and they did it at the Actors and Directors Lab Theater in New York. So, excuse me. Jack arranged an audition for a few of people in his master's class, one of which was Dana Delaney and myself. And we went to audition, and they offered me assistant stage manager and understudying all the male roles in the show.
Wow. All of them, not just one. You have to stage manage. And oh, yeah, you can also stay, in case anyone gets sick, we might need you. Like, in case anyone gets sick, we might need you for any of the males. Oh my gosh.
So it gets better. And I was assistant stage manager. All I did was pick up stuff off the floor, basically. I got to watch the show and watch how it developed. It was just a wonderful experience. Dan Sullivan, who I've worked with many times since that moment, was directing. And when they moved the show from the little showcase they had to the world premiere at Spoleto in Charleston, South Carolina, they brought me along as assistant stage manager and understudy. And there were 7 male roles and about 20 different characters. Because the 7 roles played different characters, except for the lead, who was played by Peter Evans. God bless his soul. And Peter, young man, and it was the time of AIDS. And Peter went on opening night with 103 temperature.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knew that he had contracted AIDS. We just thought he's sick, got a virus or something. So Peter couldn't get out of bed. Saturday night and Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. So they went through the blocking with me, and the best we could. I was never part of the blocking of the play, and thank God there were beautiful people like John Randolph and Joan Copeland and George Eade and John played the father, John Randolph, wonderful man. And he helped me along the way in terms of, some blocking and this and that. But, it went very well. I got standing ovations, or the show did, all 3 nights or 3 performances. So the show was going on. I mean, it was moving. And Frank Rich, who was then the critic for the New York Times, came and gave us a glowing review. What happened after that was the show closed. And then we went pre-Broadway, and we were in Baltimore at the Mechanics Theater in Baltimore. And Dan was directing, and then Dan and Arthur had some creative differences. And Dan left the show, and we went to Broadway, and it was directed by Vivian Matalon. And by then, Vivian had come on, and he had just won a Tony for Mornings at 7. And this wasn't his bag. And the show failed on Broadway. We had 13 performances, and it closed. But what he did was he was trying to, and I think this was part of the problem that Dan and Arthur had, was that he wanted the show to revolve around the Depression. And the other person wanted the show to revolve around the family. Because it was a story loosely based on Arthur's life. And Joan Copeland was his sister, who was playing his mother. So, it was tough. And I remember sitting in Sardi's, actually, in the bathroom.
Is that a restaurant? Sardi's a restaurant?
Yeah, sitting in the bathroom and with the New York Times in my hand. and reading the review. And as I was in there, Arthur came in with a friend of his, and I heard them talking about the review. It wasn't good, but crazy memory.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up, J.T. Walsh, God bless him too. He was in the show in Charleston, and he played 3 roles, and I ended up playing his 3 roles on Broadway. So,
Well, you certainly had you certainly moved on from there. You went on. You did other stage plays, included Food from Trash, Requiem for a Heavyweight,
yeah.
Far East, and Frankie and Johnny at the Claire de Lune. And you're also a founding member.
All of those are just wonderful memories. Frankie and Johnny with Caroline Aaron. That was before Life Goes On. I had to leave the show. Unfortunately, we were killing. We were just had a great time. And Food from Trash, just incredible production at Actors Theater of Louisville with John Jory. In the cast was Robert Pielmeyer and Mr. Robert Schenken, who went on to win a Pulitzer Prize.
Wow.
And, John Pielmeyer wrote, not Robert Piel, John Pielmeyer wrote Agnes of God. And, oh boy.
And for our film addicts, these are plays. I don't know if any of you are at theater school or if you can't go to a college. These are outstanding plays, and these roles are not a walk in the park. They are extremely difficult and challenging roles, and you've been in some of the most the most beautiful plays and outstanding plays like Frankie and Johnny, Requiem for a Heavyweight, The American Clock. I mean, these are
the Skin of Our Teeth. When we did the Skin of Our Teeth at Williamstown, it still ranks as the greatest theatrical experience I ever had. Not only because we're doing Thornton Wilder's incredible play, which has incredible rich history during World War II, and people would give their food vouchers to see the play.
Wow!
And it was that much. It meant that much to them. And we had an incredible cast. Christine Nielsen was my wife, and Emily Bergel. Can't remember all the names, but Marion Seldes was Esmeralda. My God, that was so wonderful. She was such a wonderful woman, and great teacher at Juilliard. But great memories, and one of our last shows, the memory of all memories. The last show was Sunday night, and I wasn't feeling too well. But we had 8 shows a week, and I stayed in my dressing room for a while after Sunday night's performance. I had some friends waiting for me, so I stayed in there. And when I was ready to go out, I opened the door, and there was Paul Newman standing there. He turned around, he opened up his arms, and tears, and he embraced me, and he was just, it was incredible. And then Joanne Woodward comes over, and she says, "Oh my God, Paul, isn't he just like Freddie? Isn't he just like Freddie?" And they were talking about Frederick March in the original production of Skin of Our Teeth with Tallulah Bankhead. And Frederick March is one of my all-time greatest idols. I think he's just an incredible actor. So that was, I get chills just thinking about that wonderful moment in my life.
Wow. A compliment from Paul Newman and his wife, but you truly deserve it. You are an outstanding, incredible actor that's so diverse from theater to TV to film. this
Thanks.
is just a joy to hear you how you came up, because so many people are just doing little pranks now and getting lots of these followers and getting to act, and there's so many people that have actually studied the craft, worked on plays, and are incredible. And so I'm just so happy that you're sharing your theater stories with us, because these are true treasures, and the amount of commitment and work it is to do off Broadway, or a play, or the Geffen Theater, it's so much work and takes a lot of energy and dedication to the craft to do those plays.
It's all about love.
Yeah, you are a natural, a truly natural. And
Thanks.
yeah, and you also are a founding member of the No Theater Company, which is now,
Ah,
yeah, which is now in association with the Wooster Group, whose members include William Defoe and the late Spalding Gray. And
yeah.
Bill, you made your 1978 New York debut in the company's production of The Elephant Man. Outstanding. Oh my
Yeah.
God. You did The Elephant Man. Can you tell us a little bit about that? We have like 4 minutes, and then we're gonna do part three with you too, because we want to get all to your TV and film. But if you could tell us a little bit about that, that would be wonderful.
Sure. That's when I moved to New York. The No Theater, N-O, not N-O-H, No Theater. We didn't have a theater. And The Elephant Man was our original production of The Elephant Man. This is before Bernard Pomerantz wrote the famous Elephant Man that was made into a movie later. But our production was based on the pulp novel about the Elephant Man. And we discovered it. Roy Faudree discovered it, a man in Northampton, Massachusetts, I met at graduate school. And we formed a theater company and did this wonderful, just delightful production of Elephant Man, where everybody played the Elephant Man at one point or another. That was the
Oh
point.
wow. Everyone got a little love. You all got to act. That's nice, actually.
Right.
Was there a vote
So
who did the best?
when we went to New York, we went to the Wooster Group, we did it in there, and then the lawyers for Bernard Pomerantz and the play came down and said, you can't use that. And we said, well, why not? Because it's copyrighted. He said, well, we were first. Well, we couldn't fight them with the lawyers. So after about a night of thinking about it, Roy cut out a little piece of cardboard with the word "the" on it and put it in front of Elephant Man to solve the problem.
I love that. I love, and you know what? That's not fair that you guys are working on it. And some people, we don't have the money, and we're talented and creative, and you did all that work, and then someone else will, oh, it's copyrighted, but you did it first. And there's a lot of great
Right.
ideas that come. And just because you have more
And
money,
handled it beautifully. Roy handled it beautifully. We didn't have to go to court or anything like that.
wow.
So
Yeah, that's the.
So about 150 people got to see it in New York.
Okay, well, hey, I bet you there, but like with COVID, we would love to see something. Right now, all we have
yeah.
is
Oh, it's
streaming.
so bad. It's so sad that people can't sit next to one another and laugh and share. It's, we've got to be careful with that. And my partners and I are working on a new show, frankly.
Yeah, well, let's end it here, and then we're gonna do part three. So I have enough. So we're gonna end it on like your play, The Elephant Man, and then we'll go to part three. Everyone, please tune in part three, because we will talk about Bill Smitrovich's TV shows, films, and what he's producing, and how you can keep up with them. So end of part two, going to part three.